Right. Yeah. So, how's it been so far? I can see familiar. I remember Adebola P Pikunyemi. I'm still trying to call that name, but yeah,
You got it
I
right.
remember.
You got it right. That's the name.
Yeah. I think yeah, I remember you. We had a very good discussion the last class or the last session. It's nice to see you here again. I'm seeing at least I'm not sure if others were there, but your name stood out. Maybe probably because we had a lot of discussion for me. So I'm welcoming Chinonso, Timileyin. I can see Usman. So welcome, guys. Um, I don't know, maybe with an emoji or if you want to drop it in the chat or something. Just if you are dropping it in the chat or maybe you want to say something. One word. So far, how would you describe your experience like in this Gen AI session? You can use an emoji or drop it in the chat. Like, just give me a quick. I just want to know how it feels. Okay, thank you, Tim Lane. I can see that. Okay. Others, are you like? Is it that bad? No, no chat, no emoji. Adebola, Chinonso, Usman, anything. Okay, Chinonso, I can see that. All right. Okay, so it's fine. So I mean, this week we looked at a very very interesting should I say topic. I don't know, for majority of us, how was it? I'm sure some of us probably it won't be new, right? We have probably experienced um I mean we all use ChatGPT and the likes, so it might not entirely be new for us. But yeah, why is this thing disappearing? So we're looking at prompting, basically, prompt engineering for developers. I think one of the resources that we gave out was from what's it called, deep learning, deeplearning.ai. So um, how was that course? Because it's just what's the word I'm going to say now? It just falls back to like some of the discussion we had earlier on, the last class. So I just want to know how it feels, learning something like that. I'm going to share something with us. Maybe I should just start with that instead. Give me a minute. Sorry, just 1 minute. Let me see how I can share this. Mm. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm trying to see how I can. So, most of the things I've done here just went off. That's very, very interesting. But we are good. Um, okay. Let me share my screen with us. And need to share tab. Okay. Uh, yep. I think we can all see my screen. I guess. Let me know if you can see my screen. Awesome. Thank you. All
Sorry,
right.
my network went off. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Oh no,
Um,
no, no. I was
um,
just trying to um so yeah, sorry. So I mean the whole week 3 and week 4 was basically about prompting and um also trying to work with an API from um some of these Gen AIs, basically OpenAI to be precise. So, but before I go on, I just want to know, I mean, in summary, what is like the major takeaway for us? I like to hear from everybody before we go on. Like, what has been the major takeaway? Maybe it's not new, maybe it's new, maybe it's a refresher or something. I don't know, but yeah, Chino. So, thank you very much. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so I'll particularly be speaking towards like the week three, which is prompt engineering. I feel I was able to really take time and digest all of that. First thing first, I want to say thank you guys for the resources. I feel like deep learning AI was a very, very good and solid resource to take this prompt engineering, especially from Andrew. Andrew is really good. So
Yeah.
my strong takeaway is the fact that prompt engineering is something that is iterative, right? So I feel like sometimes we can be, even when we use ChatGPT or we use Claude ourselves personally for work, we are trying to, with sometimes, or me personally, sometimes I used to think that it's like, a perfect prompt or maybe a prompt template that is perfect. But now I think I've changed my ideology to be about like really it depends on what you want that determines how your prompt is. And your prompting process can be something that is iterative based on feedback, based on what you see, right? You can always iterate on that. And also there was something that stood out to me with what he said. I think we're talking about extracting text, extracting sentiments and labels, right? I think it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't inferring, it was usage of this. And he mentioned the fact that in traditional system of ML, what we'll do is we'll gather like let's say test data, review data, like label data, right? And then we'll do train, we'll do test, we'll do all of that. Then maybe deploy it like a service to use it. Then if you want to do something else like extract labels or something, imagine you creating like three models to do a particular task. But right now we can just prompt LLM and just one model that we can get sentiments from and still extract like labels from. So that really stood out to me. Also, the principles, right? I think there was one dimension which is like giving your model time to think as one of the prompting steps. So when I think about it, in ChatGPT, you always see something like it's thinking for 15 seconds or whatever. But when I think about giving your model time to think, initially I was like, how do you give your model time to think? And then they went on to talk about like steps, right? So I think they gave an example that was like, you imagine you stop somebody and you ask somebody to, you give them a math question and you ask them to solve that question for you, right? You just ask them for the answer. Obviously, they're not with a pen and a paper. They are going to just maybe make a guess and they might be wrong, they might be right, but majority of the time, because they're making a guess, they might be wrong. So this instance was like how if you give ChatGPT a question sometimes to solve, or if you give your LLM the questions to solve, and you're trying to get it to check if it's correct or not, it can actually tell you that you're correct even when you are wrong, because there is not enough time for the model to think. So what you need to do now is now break it into like steps or instructions, which is like tell the model do your own work. Don't look at what I've done. Do your work first. Then compare your work with what I've done. Then tell me if I'm correct. Instead of just saying, check what I've done and tell me if I'm correct. You're giving it steps, do what you've done and that. So all of this really was things that grabbed my attention in the course. So I'll just stop for now. Thank you.
I mean, I was literally enjoying the way you were just, analyzing and breaking those things down. It's interesting. It makes it, I mean, should I say, it makes us happy like to see that. I mean, we're getting this kind of feedback, and that's exactly what I want. That everybody that is going to be taking these courses would be serious about it. At least, even if you've been interfacing with AI, LLMs, or whatever before, learn something new. See another perspective to whatever knowledge you already have that could help you expand and become better. But thank you very much for that. Very nice summary, Chinoso. In fact, maybe I'll take you as one of our study lead, maybe for the next quote. Will you be ready? All right, Simile, let's have you.
So I just wanted to add something to what Chinoso has already said. Like she had already summarized it pretty well, but something that sort of started to reveal itself to me as I was going through the course was how, you know, how they say this thing about, oh, in this day and age we are now the architects rather than the bricklayers, and we should just be very specific on how we're giving instructions and how we are breaking down things, but we are the ones directing and the LLMs are the ones doing the building. But that doesn't mean that directing isn't as important, as because architects are just as important as the builders. So it really showed me how important constructing good instructions are. And it really showed me how you really need to think about it properly and not just drop instructions and expect the model to do something nice for you. You should use to yourself. So in that sense, you are doing some work yourself. You're not just giving it to a black box and expecting magic. You are, in some sense, performing the magic too. You are constructing good instructions yourself for the model to take that and then do something. So I'm starting to see the good sides of, oh, LLMs or ChatGPT are not just going to take over. We're still very much part of the process. So yeah, it was very nice to see that.
All right, thank you
That's
very much. That's that. Thank you very much for that. That's, I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, hearing this from you guys, like, it's all good. So before I go to my, I mean, sharing what I have one question though. Like, I think, I mean, has any one of us like got into the stage whereby we are trying to attempt the assignment currently? Like,
Yeah,
okay, has it been like, are you done with it? Like, I
yeah.
think
I've submitted.
oh, you submitted. Oh, I think so. You're one of the, I'll check the name. You're one of the few people that have submitted, because we have very low people, and some people have been like private chatting us to like extend the timeline or something. So I think we have given till Monday. But yeah, how did it go before we? Was
Uh,
it easy?
well, the task itself was easy. Like it was just trying to give a model question and get answer and response. But the confusing part was the whole like trying to look for specific things in the docs and I used ChatGPT to get some answers, and trying to go through all of that was sort of confusing. But once you get the hand of it, it was actually very straightforward. And I think the rate limiting handling and everything. There was one thing. I think I used Gemini for my own. So Google, they changed some part of their
Oh,
docs, and I had used ChatGPT to help me look for relevant docs, and it gave me old docs. So I was just running around until I now found out that, oh, they updated their SDK and they no longer do it this way. They now do it this way. So
okay.
that part was sort of stressful for me, but overall, it's a pretty straightforward task. It's
Okay,
okay.
okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you very much for that feedback. All right, so let's just rush through this. I mean, I'm sure we've already, from what I'm hearing, most of us have actually gone past this. But yeah, I mean, prompt engineering. So myself, I have taken some courses on prompt engineering to also help me at the beginning. In fact, I've taken about, I think, 3 or 4 courses now. 2 on Coursera. Okay, one by Google. Google has a AI prompt essentials on Coursera. I don't know if it's free, but I might have some packages that allow me to take some of their courses for free. I have like massive credit for Google Cloud program, so so that helps me. So I don't know if it is free general for everybody, but you might check it out. It could also help. And it broke down a lot of things. Like, was one of the courses that I really loved. So prompt engineering is, at the point it became something that people were like, you need to have this before so that the job will not replace you. But I mean, at this point in time, it's not even whether because you are working in a company or not. Prompt engineering is now becoming a regular skill for anybody that, like, I don't know, use AI or computer. And one of the things that we also discussed the last class, we're talking about like generative AI and discriminative AI. You know, what the difference is, and the key difference is simply one creates new thing entirely, not entirely sharp, but like creates new stuff based on what it has learned, the patterns it has learned over time, right? And the other is not creating, whether it's predicting, whether it's classifying, whether whatever, but the end point is not creating new thing, right? So and it's like, what's what I'm going to say? That's like the most. There are some things underneath, under the hood that they have in common and the likes, but the main thing is that one creates new content, the other doesn't, right? So I think we discussed that one extensively the last time. I said something here that is recommending the next word in a sentence, Gen AI or discriminative ML. I mean, the answer is Gen AI. We all know that, like, you don't expect a prediction algorithm to be, well, I don't know, it can predict something sharp, but it's not entirely trying to give you something new or trying to write up a sentence for you based on the context or the idea of what you're trying to do. So it's just looking into the data and seeing the pattern and then trying to, classify based on that, right? Classify, okay, this thing looks like something that's based on my training. This one falls into this category. This one does not fall into that category. So it's not like it's creating something new, right? So we have the 2 of them, and so but then that takes us to, like, I mean, I'm just trying to takes us. Let's go to prompting itself. So the whole essence of prompting, I said that context is king, right? Then prompting, I said prompting defines the amount of context as I'm provided within prompt itself, right? And then I gave some example here, like there are different techniques. Some of the techniques, there are a lot of methodologies. Let me use that. That's like when it comes to prompting, we have been advised to use, there are some that will tell you that for ChatGPT to actually, do exactly what you want, you need to give it a persona, like, okay, act like an architect, or you are a senior engineer, what's the word? You are maybe, I mean, people use ChatGPT for therapy now. You're a therapist. Like, people ask ChatGPT a lot of personal questions that, like, it broke my heart. What should I do? I've literally seen some people, like in my head, I'm like, hello, this is AI I'm talking to. Like, this is something you should be talking to a human being about. But I think because of the illusion of privacy, people say a lot of things to ChatGPT now, and in my mind, I'm like, is it really private? But that's not a discussion for today. But yeah, ChatGPT has become, I can't remember where I was reading it. I think in the US, I was reading a report about a certain percentage, very, very large percentage of users, I think in the US, like what they use ChatGPT for. I'm not sure if it was OpenAI, something I was reading, but it was about them that, or it was Sam Holtzman that was saying it. I can't remember exactly where. I'm trying to, maybe it was a short video, but I know I saw where he was talking about the fact that majority of the things that people are asking ChatGPT are really personally related stuff, like they're looking for answers to like personal problems or stuff like that. Um, and it's not something that, but yeah, sorry, it's not something that what's the word, that is, for me personally, I say it's not something that is ideal. But anyways, that's just talking about context, because people now share their private stuff. ChatGPT now understands what you ate yesterday. And if you say you have stomach ache, you can say probably because of what you ate yesterday, because that's the context you have given it. So, and stuff like that. But we have different technique, zero shot, you're just giving ChatGPT, and I don't want to say open-ended question, like you are giving it the full autonomous power to just give me anything based on your, and I mean this technique usually gives a lot of, sometimes, I mean, it's the one that gives hallucination the most anyways, because it relies based on its training, based on the data that it has available, and things like that. So you're not giving it any example, you're not giving it any constraints, you're not giving it any specific instruction, you're not giving it any format, right? um so we have this one shot, where you provide an example, you provide a context. Sometimes I've used this specifically a few times. Maybe I want to format something, I'm like, I'll just dump the data there, and I'm like, convert this to probably a JSON, and then I write the example of how the what the key names should be. So I just need to format maybe like 20 stuff using that particular JSON object. So, and then I put the JSON object. So it doesn't, by doing that, there's nothing like it's trying to hallucinate or it gives me different, no. So he follows that same pattern, and but that's the only thing. So maybe I want to do other stuffs with that same data, because that's the only example provided. I see it still falls back to trying to rely on his own idea and stuff, right? So, and then we have few shot technique where, yeah, you give it example, you give it persona, you give it constraint, you even explain, things like that. You can even give it a URL, give it a URL where it fetches data to add more context to what you are saying, and things like that. So, and I was saying it here that, just an example, if we are asked that we should write this type of prompt, a prompt that reformats names from first name and last name to last comma first. I mean, it looks simple. This very small thing looks very simple. Like, just say you put in like 100, sorry, you put in like 100 names, and you say, okay, maybe Titi, Ade, Yemi, Shola, and then first name and last name, and then say convert to last name, or you say switch their places, or just say convert this to last name, first name. You might be lucky and you get everything right, but there's also a possibility that you might even mix some of the names together and stuff like that, right? But based on few shots, you'll be able to tell it, okay, where to put comma, should the last name be in capital letter, and things like that. So that's just what's what I'm saying. That's just like you trying to build the pattern, the format for ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever the LLM is, for them to follow through, right? So so now what are the principles for you to have like good prompts? Like, so like as I was saying here earlier, so you write clear and specific instructions, use delimiters where necessary, like so that you let the, I think, I don't know if, I'm not sure if it was mentioned in that course, because I mean there's so many courses in my head that I can be mixing together. But I learned something from one of these, prompting courses that I watched too. It was mentioned, okay. No. What I want to say is about using XML. Where you use XML, like you can structure your input as XML, and then like to tell the AI how, to follow the context or the work based on that XML instruction. I'm not sure if it was in this course or in another one, but yeah. So those are some of the things you can do. Be when you understand input, understand the text, understand, let it understand the context and stuff like that. So, and this one also, when you ask the model to check its own work or meet specific constraints, this one has saved me a lot of. One of the things I do, I mean, based on the cost too, so is that after it's one of the things I do is once you are done, I say you explain the reason why you got to that, like show me your reasoning, like how you got to this final like trajectory. How did you end up deciding that this is the right answer, and and stuff like that. So sorry. So it's like what's what I'm going to say? It's like a way to let the um sorry. Oh, I was not updated. So it's a way to like let the AI follow your principle, understand what you are doing exactly. So then like yeah, iteration is key when it comes to prompting. Iteration is key. I think I was doing a course on Plural Site, I think GitHub Copilot and stuff like that, and we're trying to tell the AI to create an image of a cloud and a boat. When we just give it the first prompt according to that course, like what Copilot, what GPT was creating was so funny. Like I'm like, how is this a boat? How is this a boat? Like hello. But yeah, that was it because based on what uh, based on what he understands by the data that was given, then he produced that. But after we refined the prompt, told it how many number of how the clouds should look like, the position of the sun, the why the water should not just be a straight line, there should be wave, and all those kind of stuff. It did it the first time. It was close. We saw that okay, this one was good. Then we refined it. Okay, this one is this. Let there be a circular, an orange shadow around it to show that okay, it's getting things like that. So continue to do that until you get what you want. Why? Okay, I'm tapping the keyboard. Sorry. So a question here. It says when to use delimiters. All right. And I think I already mentioned it too, was that how do you what is the main function of delimiters, right? It's basically to prevent the model from getting confused, like so that it can know instructions and it can know user input. So that okay, this is the instruction, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is data or the context I'm supposed to work with. So yeah, hallucination problems. We discussed this too the last time. I mean, based off of prompting, I think at the very beginning when ChatGPT started, yeah, they had this issue, especially because of the fact that they didn't have data, you know, for should I say the African, or the blacks to be precise, and they had some of these hallucination issues where some contexts were poorly, or I didn't even know what right language to use, and it was a big issue for them then. But they had to get better at it by training the LLM to become, I mean, understand and include, should I say, diversity, right? So hallucination is, we all know what it is now. When the AI, the issue is not that it's hallucinating. The issue is that it's always confident. It will give you data as to why the wrong thing is the right thing. And that thing is scary. Like to tell you this is it according to I think I don't know if anyone of us heard about I think I heard this news. Deloitte, recently where um, they found out that they use AI for, was it an analytical report or something? I can't remember, but it was like over the news. Yeah, you did, yeah. And it was that thing is not a joking matter. The funniest thing is, I'm sure I want to assume that I don't think they are the only one using it. I'm sure there are other, even the big fours, the other ones, the likes of KPMG, Ernest and Young, and PwC. I'm sure there will probably be one or two of them in their in that office. You can't tell me that the all of them have not used AI in their processes or something. But unfortunately, they said it is the person in Yoruba. I don't know how this people used to say one proverb. They say that it is the person that the money catch where he's stealing that is barrel. So, and that's what I think happened. Like, there's some, I was listening to, I think it was Australia or Austria, I can't remember the country that this particular thing happened now. Yeah. But there was something that even made it very obvious. There was a book that the AI referenced in the analysis or something. And the author of the book did not write that title. He renamed the title of the book for the author, but he got the author right. But and then it's like he got a part of the name and then included his own, like he generated extra part of that title to the book. And he was like, and the author was like, no, 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 this is not my book. And like when they interviewed her and the likes. But I mean, we get the idea because the title was closed and the like. So hallucination is a very big issue. But yeah, it's something that is still happening. Um, when when um when this AI is being trained, first of all, the kind of data that is available, number one, sometimes if those things were not properly, cleaned, data was not properly cleaned, or the particular data that is needed to answer that question wasn't part of the one with which the AI was trained. Obviously, the its probability, this thing is mathematical calculation. It's going to look at the one whose weight is closer to the answer and then pick it up. So that's just how it is. But yeah, it's part of the things that we're trying to that the AI ecosystem is trying to fix at the moment. So yeah, but I I asked a question here that why can't an LLM answer about your internal vacation policy? I mean, what does he want to see? If I say this is how my vacations look like every year, unless I have given ChatGPT the full context to my how I plan vacation in my family or how I go around with my home, with my family and everything. If I tell it to generate something for me about my vacation or try to create a vacation system, a vacation plan or something for me based on what I do without telling it, obviously it's going to give me, probably go and find one person that he feels is close to me based on my name. Maybe he knows my name, or based on maybe he knows my experience as a software engineer or as an AI engineer or as a graphic designer. It looks for people that are graphic designer in the data that have this, and it says this is what you should do. So based on the information he has, he's going to, uh, give his own ideology. But yeah, he might be entirely wrong, and he does it confidently. So, so I wanted to remove these two before, but I just felt like, okay, let me just leave it. Now, let's say we are given, what's the word I'm going to say now? Let's say we are given a project, a text, and we want to, let's say, summarize the whole thing. We want to summarize the whole thing. Share light. So, want to summarize the whole thing? We can just paste a book and just tell ChatGPT to just summarize this thing to condense the whole um text and everything, right? Um, what do we think happens underneath for it to be able to do that? Because I think, like, the reason why I added this before was because I think in our what's it called, our curriculum. Yeah, I wanted to say syllabus. I was trying not to say syllabus. Our curriculum, we have this task as part of, like, I don't know if we saw this, right? Did did we see it? Was it sent to us? I think it should be in our email because it's the same thing we're using here. Let me just know before I will continue this, so that I will know. I want to ask some questions around this. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So
I'm not sure you. I don't think I
okay.
saw something like this. But this was in the
It was
course in the
resource.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know. So, like, so did any one of us try this? I think it was talking about like, just for us to use the 0 1 few short prompt and compare the output. Basically, I think that was what it was all about. That's for the summarizing.
Okay, yeah, but I haven't done it. I saw. I've seen it.
Sorry, right? Okay.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no
right.
problem. It wasn't really a major. I mean, we just wanted you to, like, just like experience it or just see how it works or something. That's why we added
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I think it was also in the OpenAI guide, Abby.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That was where we actually picked it from. It's in their prompt engineering guide.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's fine. It's cool. Then I don't think we added inferring. But we just added that, like, so that we can see the difference between summarizing and inferring. Like, inferring, when we infer, we it's based on, different things, sentiment, topic. For us to be able to know how to get something out based on data that has already been, which majority of us probably we've done something like that before. I don't know. Maybe I think I've done something with notebook LM. Like, I don't have time to read for a course, and I have like 3 textbooks. So what I just did was just put the 3 textbooks there, and I'm like, hello, these are the topics I'm interested in. I can't start reading it to the page. Oh, yeah, summarize this thing for me, then bring out this thing, generate 200 questions for me, and I was solving them. So, and that was how I crash studied. Like, I crash studied that thing for the exam I was preparing for, and, well, I knew I was not going to score 90, but at least I'm okay with 70, and I did. So yeah, um, and that was how I was able to actually beat my time, like, to, because by the time I start reading the book and everything, I don't have that time, and it was easy for me to also do that because of this inferring and summarization, because both of them are working now when it comes to a tool like Notebook LLM, right? So, so it was scholar care. It wasn't an entirely new topic, that's why. So, but I could have started to revise. But yeah, because of the fact that I knew that, okay, 3 textbooks, I can combine these things together, and then just, it took from this, took from that, and then inferred different possibilities of questions, and based on that, and it was picking it out for me. So yeah, uh so this one was, we just added this, like, let me just run through it. Like, so we want to try and do, like, say, transforming transforming data or whatever you're giving to uh the LLM. Maybe, for instance, you're writing an email, uh for those who are using Gemini inside their Gmail, if you are doing that, or you use ChatGPT to format first and then come back. I've done something like that. Yeah. Um, transform texts, modify, maybe this was one I was talking about earlier. This JSON stuff where I just put in a particular set of data and I say maybe like 20 or 50 of them because I don't have time to start with doing. I just say follow these JSON objects and then give me everything, and then it does. And I just copy it and paste into my code base and continue whatever I'm doing. Right. That was before I got my Copilot subscription. I do that. But yeah, sometimes you can also use it to expand content, generate. I have an email. What I want to say is that I want to tell the man that I have acknowledged his receipt, and I want to say, I want to appreciate him for giving me this, and then send it, and then write it in a formal way. And then with just 2 sentences, ChatGPT gives you like 10 sentences appreciating the man, or 3 paragraphs appreciating the man or your boss or whatever. And that's just it. Then those are some of the things that you do, and then use it to build a chatbot. But don't let us go into that. This was the assignment, right? So now let's just go to this API part, very interesting part. So basically, when we integrate with LLMs, what happens is that we are able to build more complex, powerful applications in something that will take you 3 months, probably take you weeks, take you days, take you hours. I think I've actually done something like that in 1 hour before. Uh, I needed to submit a prototype for a church. They wanted to build something, I think, marketplace or so, and I did not have time. So I copied some of my code base. I copied some components from there, picked out a few things. Then I wrote a task.md file, like a README file, but I wrote a task.md file. What are the pages that I needed? What are those things that I needed? Added it to my, so I created a folder for the project. Then I added everything there. Just prompted Copilot using task.md, ensure that you use this, and then the components that have already been created, buttons, nav bar, and those things that I've used before, copy everything into that place already into a file called component. So I didn't even need to put it as JS, component.txt, everything was text, but they were all probably so, and that was the only job I did. All I needed was a prototype that was working. ChatGPT, create this in React, blah, 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 blah. Copilot rather. And voila, in less than 15 minutes, everything was done. And I just needed to be making some correction. Okay, let me remove this image. Let me change this one. Let me add a new image to this. That was all. And within 1 hour, prototype was ready, right? And that's the advantage that we have with this LLM. You build very fast. You build fast, you build powerful applications in minutes, right? So, but, what we are talking about here now is API, how you now talk to them rather than you just going to ChatGPT and just typing in text. Here you use the LLM directly itself, like, and you can do as many things as you want with it, right? So we have, this is just like me trying to put something here about APIs and stuff, but don't mind me, maybe the picture does not even. But yeah, you get the idea. You can, order a product, see your inventory, make reports, blah, 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 blah. You can do all these things from clients, maybe your phone or your browser. You order, it goes to the factory, order, and blah, 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 supplier gets everything and all that. So basically how API works, right? Just an interface for you to be communicating with one particular set of the system, with a particular set of the system with another one. So with APIs, we have access to the data, like, and also, I mean, this one is if you are using RAG, you can use your own proprietary data and use the API. You can't do that with Web UI for any of the LLMs, right? And then you can build your own interfaces, custom interfaces. You can do automation, automated workflow. I think I was doing something with Make, no, anything. I was doing something with anything sometimes. ago, and I had to use OpenAI, and with the API key, it was easy for me to integrate, and then I was generating stuff, sending emails directly. So somebody fills a form, OpenAI gets the person's data, through the API, and then transforms it to whatever I want, picks out the request, sends to the relevant emails. If some of the process can also be done, creates a Google Sheet, and then do all those stuff automated just by submitting a form. So yeah, you can't do that with the web UI, right? And then you also have higher control on guardrails and sources. So what's the word now? You can control what comes in and what goes out. You can control what people can access and what people cannot access, and and the likes, right? So, and then some of the things that were also mentioned that API keys, having password, not being hard coded, these are like just best practices or common practices that helps you secure. They're not the only one, but this is like the base where you can start, right? And you have to use .env file. Is there anyone among us that doesn't know what an env file is? I want to believe we all do. I can see my guy here, Mr. Samson. You're welcome. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we have, I mean, this is just a way for us to have this. But yeah, this is something that we're talking about last week. So I went to find, don't mind, forget all these things. This is the picture I thought to show us. I think was he Adibola that was talking about it yesterday? Sorry, it felt like yesterday. The last class, the last session about self attention. But yeah, so I had to go and bring this. I had to go and find. I think there's a book called Attention is All You Need. I don't know if I've seen that book before. Yeah, I have professors. I say I have professors in this place. Well, very soon. Don't worry. I will be sitting there. People will be teaching me too. So yeah, I have to just go get this. That okay. I like for us to just see it, and just. So I don't even know why I'm even showing my guys in the house that they've read the book. Can you imagine? Eh? So it's yes, it is. But I think it was they also somebody did the first time I saw it, I actually saw was it on Google Books or something? But yes, it's actually a research paper. But I don't know if it was them or people are converting it to easy read. I don't want to say book, I'll say easy read. Like, so yeah, but it's actually a very nice thing for those that have not read it. Please read it. You see like how Gen AI works. To be honest, there are some things that are still here that even me, I am still saying, okay, I think I grab what they are saying, but I don't think I understand what they are saying. So, so, but yeah, I mean, that's just it. We keep learning every now and then, right? But the basic thing here is that it allows the model to like weigh the importance of every word in the input. Like, so once you put in maybe a sentence or something, beyond just the fact that it gets the context and everything from there, it also tries to see, I can say that day, let me look for an example. I don't know if my example will be correct, but I can't think of one something. I'm trying to see. Let me say, or the main context I want to show is that Tade is my sibling, but I'm saying that Tade is the fourth son of my mother's children. Like, so in those words, there are some things that carry the real meaning of what I'm trying to pass. Some words there, if you remove them, if you say Tade is one of my mother's children, it still conveys the message that Tade is my sibling. I don't get what I'm saying. So in the real sense, fourth born of my mother's children is just extra details. It's not really that important to show that Tade is my sibling. So things like that. So it's just trying to weigh the importance of everybody in the inputs as a process. But yeah, this is how it is. So let's run away to our final uh part. I think this was the assignment that was given to us. if I'm correct. Or did you guys see another thing? So this is CLI, right? Then I was talking. I just added this that okay, looking ahead, having the idea of RAG. Because of this issue of not being able to access. But I don't think this is a big issue now because how many of us know that ChatGPT can crawl data from the web for you now? Have you tried it before? Has anyone ever tried it before? Like ChatGPT to crawl data, maybe for instance, say crawl me profile of every research ML engineers in Lagos or in Nigeria, and it will give you that link, LinkedIn, Twitter, it does. So it couldn't do some of those things that are last year. If you tell it to find number, to tell you that it does not have access to it. So it's becoming, I think, RAG is becoming, what's the language I'm going to use now? A norm now. Like, so yeah, I just added that, but yeah, so here comes the end of my presentation. I mean, it's just for us to have a refresh, and I don't know if anybody has any question, addition, contribution, minus. Maybe there's something that I said that is wrong. Please, I'm willing to learn. Some people are clapping. Don't clap. Oh. Tell me something. I want to learn. Right? Is learning want to learn? Yeah, we're all learning. Because see, I have a professor in the house here. Mr. Sapsi. Oh yeah. Anything from you? No, I not a thumbs up. Anything from you? But yeah. Oh yeah, nah. Go ahead,
No,
sir.
no,
I'm listening to you.
every experience is fine.
All right. All right. So yeah. Um.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um. So we look at. I mean, like I said, we have up to Monday. We have extended to Monday to submit the assignment. So let's try and build it. I mean, if you do it, you gain a knowledge. You get better. You can go further. Do. You can wow us. Do something that will pick our phone and call you that. Engineer, we saw your hand. So so you can wow us, right? I'm expecting there are some people. In fact, it's everybody I'm expecting here. Timile, Yusma, and Chino, so Adibola. I'm expecting big things from you guys. So I know that you guys are capable, right? So yeah. But if there are no questions, I mean, I don't know. No questions, no comments. I guess we have come to the end of today's session. So let's clap for ourselves. She. Though I